everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to share how you can design mobile application using the new features of Autolayout in Figma. Now Figma's Autolayout is trending and there is so much more that you can do with Autolayout with respect to scaling, with respect to resizing of the layout, and I thought why not make a relevant video for you guys. So without further ado, let's get started. So here we are in Figma and I have taken two screenshots from the Medium app on iPhone, and here you see this is the first scroll and this is the second screenshot is the second scroll on the Medium homepage. Alright, I have also collected some icons which I would be needing to create this layout. From some icons from the top bar and some icons from the bottom bar. Right, I have here an artboard for iPhone 11 and I have placed the status bar and the home indicators on the top and bottom respectively. Okay, now let's get started on creating this top bar first. Top bar which has this bookmark, the search icon, the logo and a text. We would be doing everything from scratch using Autolayout. Right, so here we have these three icons. Let me get it inside the artboard. And here we will add a text. Good morning. Good morning. All right. Great, I'm going to give it a font here for Open Sans and let it be extra bold. Great, right, it's good morning. And I'm going to select all of these, the search icon, the bookmark, the text, as well as the logo. I'm going to select all of this and press Shift A to convert it into Autolayout. Oh, great. Now you can see that this layout, this frame is now an auto layout, and we have a uniform spacing of 36 pixel between the individual elements. And now let's go ahead and align them horizontally. As you can see, there is an option here to align them. Currently it is set to top left. Let me put it on the center. Great. As you noticed in this top navigation bar, that the text and the logo are on the left and the two icons are towards the right. Now let's see how you can achieve this with auto layout, because right now all of them have a uniform spacing of 36 pixel. Now let us go and select this text and this logo and convert it into auto layout. Again, I'm going to press Shift A here. As you see, it has 36 pixel and it is aligned on the top left. Let me make it to the center and reduce the spacing to be around 16, maybe 12. Great. All right. Now let's do the same with these two icons here. I'm selecting these two icons and again pressing Shift A to convert it into auto layout. Why did I do this is because there's a bigger frame which covers both of these four elements. There is a first frame which covers the logo and the text, and the second frame covers the two icons, and both of them have a spacing of 36 pixels. So if I increase this, the spacing increases. Great. Now what we are going to do is adjust the spacing between these two. Let's go ahead and do that and make it around 16. Let's make it 20. Okay, better. Now we have to make sure that these two elements are stuck to the left side while these two elements are on the right side. So how are we going to achieve it? Let's convert the spacing between these two frames from packed to space between. Bam! What do we see here? We see that these two have now got a spacing, and when you scale it, the spacing between them will increase, and hence this feature of space between has made it to have increasing space when you resize. Great. Now let's go ahead and align this to the center of the main artboard. We have a spacing of 24 pixel, which is fine. Great. Now this has started to look very similar to what we have here in the screenshots. Now let's go ahead and do that for the second section, that is the medium post, which has an image, some text here about the publication and some more text. Okay, great. Let's have an image section here. I'm going to use Unsplash plugin to have a random image here for us. Okay, now that we have the image here, let's go ahead and make the rest of the layout. Now that we have all the elements for this layout already made here, let's try and convert this to auto layout in such a way that even on resizing, the layout doesn't get hampered. Let's see how we can do it. So we'll select these three elements and press Shift A and convert this into auto layout. We'll go into the auto layout alignment and padding section where we will adjust them horizontally and reduce the spacing between them. Let's have it around 8 pixels. Okay, great. Then we have this title, then we have the text below it, and then we have some more text which we are going to convert it to auto layout, pressing Shift A. Align it horizontally in the center and reduce it to around 8 pixels here as well. Great. Now we are going to combine this entire section into auto layout. To do that, let me select all of these elements, press Shift A and convert this into auto layout. Great. Let me adjust the image. Yeah, perfect. Line it to the center of the artboard. Right, now this looks quite similar to what we had here, but how can we make it resizable so that when we scale it more or scale it down, the layout doesn't get affected, right? So as you see, we scale here, the content inside it is not scaling. To do that, let's experiment a bit more on the constraint and resizing options inside the auto layout. Right, so you want the image as well to scale. For that, we will change it from fixed width to fill container. So horizontally, it will resize as well with the container, as you can see now. Right? Let me drag this outside so that you can understand it better. Right? Great. Now, let's see how we can do the same with the other elements as well. So, let's start with this heading. Right now it is having a fixed width. If we change this from fixed width to fill container, it will automatically size itself with respect to its container, right? So when we are resizing the container, the text inside resizes itself. Great. Let me drag it outside and show you clearly, right? So the text is resizing as well. Great. Now let's do the same with this element as well, from fixed width to fill container. So according to the container's width, which it is inside, that is this frame, it's resizing the elements inside. Great. So in this way, you would be able to create a responsive layout using auto layout, new feature in Figma. Let's drag it back to the mobile and resize it according to the layout. Let's align it on the center, and there we have this. Let's see what happens when we try to increase the length of the text. You see, the content automatically goes down and starts occupying the space. All right, great. Now this completes this section of the design. Now let's move on to the next section. Here, as you can see, we have some more from the following department. We have some, and there is a indicator which tells how many new posts are there from this particular publication. Let's try and do that in auto layout. Let's see something around 80 pixel, right? Let's have 4 blocks of elements, slightly more bigger, I think. Let's paste them. Okay, this sounds about right. And we are also going to see how we can make this notification from each publication. Let's go ahead and add some images for these 4 publications. Okay, now that we have these images here, let's go ahead and add these notification icons on the top right of each one of them. So for doing that, we would have a rectangle here of the same width as this, which is 90. So let's make this 90 as well. Convert it into a frame, right? And then have a circle made inside it. Let's have it around 15 pixels by 15 pixels. And we will place it on the top right corner of it. Let's change the color to a different shade so that we are able to notice it. Okay, top, and we will set it to right. Great. Now what we are going to do is to change the rectangle inside to be very small, right? So if we try and give the height of this rectangle to be 0 pixel, Figma by default changes it to 1 pixel. So we are going to have a small trick here is to give a very small number, that is 0.001, so that it rounds it and makes it a smaller rectangle. Great. Now after doing this, we'll go ahead and place this on the top of these images. Let's combine them. Great. Now when we go ahead and resize this, you see the circle stays as is and we are able to resize them. Great, let's go back and change the width to 90. So let's do it for a couple of more elements here. Now, the next thing which we have to make is this bottom bar, which has these 3 icons. One is home, one is notification, and another is the profile icon. Now let's go ahead and see how we can give exact this kind of spacing between them using Autolayout. So I have these icons with me. I'm going to just drag them below. Right, and I'm going to make a similar circle of 20 cross 20 pixels. Now I'm going to select all 3 of them and convert it into Autolayout. Great. Now this is now converted into Autolayout. I'm going to give a fill background for it, which is white, and I'm going to also give a little bit of padding to this entire frame. So that you can do by using this individual padding around the items here. I'm going to give it a padding of around 16 pixels. That's a little too big. Let's try 12. Okay. Now that we have the padding around the elements, we need to see how these elements are supposed to be positioned when I resize it to the size of the bigger artboard, that is the artboard for the entire phone. So right now you can see if I'm resizing, nothing is happening. They are not resizing according to the elements inside the frame. So how we can do it is we can give it constraint from, there are two kinds of constraint here inside this spacing. One is packed and another is space between. When I change it from packed to space between and then I try to stretch it, you see these are resizing according to the space between these elements, and the space is increasing as I'm trying to resize the frames. But when I change it from space between to packed, no matter how you resize it, the spacing remains the same. In this case, we would want a spacing which remains the same between these two elements, and then there is an equal spacing on the other two sides. So the way you can achieve this is either have an auto spacing between these elements or define the spacing like somewhere around 50 pixels, align them to the center, try to increase this. Right? So now you can see that these elements are aligned right in the center. They have 80 pixel spacing between them, kind of similar to what we have it here. Probably the top and bottom pixels are slightly less. Let me try and change it from 12 to 8. Yeah, top and bottom padding has now been reduced to 8 and 8 respectively, and now it kind of looks similar to what we have here with the first one, home icon, being selected. Okay, great. Now I'm going to add a little bit of finishing to this page by adding some image here and here as well. Okay, now I've added a little more details here, like added an icon for this magazine right here and added my profile icon. I'm going to add some more details to these posts. Okay, so now we have gone ahead and added some description for all of these 4 images. Let's go ahead and convert this as well into auto layout. So for that, I'm going to select these two, align it, and then press Shift A. I'm going to do that for other elements as well. Okay, now the next step is to go ahead and make the second scroll. The second scroll image, as you can see here, is we have some text here, and along with an icon here, there is a text here as well. There is a small text here, and then there is an image, and this layout is kind of repeated. We're going to do the same using auto layout. This entire page we are going to build using auto layout, and let's see how we can do it. Okay, let me have another artboard here. Right, and now we will have this text. Okay, now that we have all the elements here, that is the name of the subscription, the heading, and the 2 small texts which tells about when this article was posted along with how long the read is. Let's have another icon, small icon for the subscription as well. Now we have all these elements right here on our artboard. We are going to convert this into auto layout and duplicate it and see how using auto layout you can also maintain scalability. If the title of your text is small, how will it look? And if the title is bigger, how will it go ahead and wrap in the second line or third line, and so on. Right, so these two will be horizontally aligned to each other and would be converted into auto layout. Again, this and this would be again horizontally aligned to each other and again be another auto layout. Let's have a spacing of around 8 pixels between them. There's a small dot as well. Okay, let's go ahead and add that dot too. So very small dot between them, probably 1 pixel by 1 pixel, right? Slightly darker shade, and then go ahead and combine all of this into auto layout, right, and align them horizontally so that they are all in one straight line. Great. Now let's go ahead and see how we can combine everything together. Okay, so this top element, the heading, and this, the time element along with the duration of the read, all of them will be combined together in one auto layout, right? So I'm going to select all 3 of them and press Shift A so that they are all converted into auto layout. Again, this element would be aligned to this element, which is the image element, and again converted into auto layout. Great. Now what you can see here is this bigger frame. It is split into two vertical ones, one which has the image and another is all the text. Let's see if the spacing is right, or we want the spacing to be a little bit small probably, and then align both of them together using the alignment option in the auto layout, right? And now let's go ahead and add some image here as well. I'm going to use Unsplash plugin again for adding a random image here. Okay, now that we have image and everything here, we need to understand that what would happen if this title is little bit long. Not every title will fit in one row. Titles can be longer than a row as well. Like as you see, there are some elements there are some titles which take the space of 2 lines, and there are some titles which take 3 lines. So let's see how we can achieve this using auto layout. And in order to do that, you should understand that the auto layout has to be set to fill container, and this text, which is supposed to be scaled, that is, it can go to 1 line, 2 line, or even 3 line, has also to be scaled from hug contents to fill container. Now let us see what would happen if we don't change it from hug contents, right? Right now it is into hug contents and we try to add some text. You see the text is going behind the image as well, and we don't want that. How can we fix it? So in order to fix it, we will change the resizing constraint from hug contents to fill container. And as soon as we do that, you can see that the text has now gone into the second line. Go ahead and align that. And let's give a meaningful title over here. Now you can see that it is very comfortably going inside the second line. And if it is of more than 2 lines, like if there are more text, you see that it is comfortably going into the third line as well. So we're going to duplicate this entire frame so that we can make all of these components again, right? So we'll go ahead and convert it into a component. Let's rename it to cards in medium. Right? Let's remove it outside, make a copy of it. So now we have one variant here, and then we'll duplicate it for others as well. Let's change some of them to be single line, some of them to be 2 lines, and we also have some elements in 3 lines, right? Now let us go ahead and align them properly, centrally and vertically as well. We see that there are almost 5 posts, so we'll go ahead and add 5 posts here as well. Great. Now I'll go ahead and quickly change all these images into different images and have different titles so that you can see a better and more realistic UI. Right. Now I'm just going to add some more icons here so that it becomes more and more closer to actual design here. Okay, now this UI has started to look a little bit more in detail than what it was before. We have the icons in place, we have the names, we have the other images also, and it kind of looks similar to the screenshot which we had taken from the app. Now what we are going to do, one last change is to give the cards a background here using this fill option. You can give the background to the entire frame. You can give a padding around the frame as well to the inside elements using this option in the auto layout to give the padding. Here, let's try and give it a small padding of 5 pixels, and you can see how the layout has changed. It has added padding in all of these elements. At this point in time, we will space them a bit more. Alright, I hope you guys got to learn something about Figma Auto Layout in this video. I have linked in the description box about all the plugins which I have used and some other relevant information, so do feel free to check it out, and I am going to share this file as well so that you can make use of it and learn in much more detail. Thank you guys, thank you for staying around at the end of the videos, and I will see you all in the next video with another tutorial about Figma, new features in Auto Layout, and what all you can achieve. So till then, bye bye, thank you.